I have an Australian flag.
Nice.
Nice.
From the Beyond the Light Studios. You're listening to At the End of the Day with Chuck and Benji on Beyond the Light Radio Network. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and listen on Spreaker.
All right, Chuck, we're good. We're live. We're good to go. Bring it on in.
All right. All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to bring it on. Welcome back, folks. Season 2, Episode 2 of At the End of the Day with Chuck and Benji. Welcome, one and all, to a grand concocted show detailing many concepts regarding the paranormal and spirituality. Tonight, we have Klaes and Coyote Chris Sutton on the line with us. That will go down as one of the greatest symbiotic shows in American history, maybe. Anyway, I'm just throwing that out there. So get out your popcorn, turn the lights off, get your favorite drink, and relax for what is surely to be one great At the End of the Day episode that is late, and we apologize for that. Powers that may be.
I
Benji's
also have
fault.
to apologize.
Yes.
Yeah, Benji.
We'll blame Benji this
what are you
time.
doing?
Damn it, Benji. Damn it. Okay. A couple of questions to keep in mind. Have you ever experienced a shift in reality so deep and full of history that you questioned your own concepts regarding what lies ahead beyond death? What if you could see and examine the energy around you and foster a relationship with the land and the past? Tonight, folks, we're going to dive into an event which could go down as one of the best in paranormal history. At least I like to throw that out there. The Haunted Hinsdale Ghost Hunt will occur next Saturday at July 14th. Coyote Chris Sutton and myself will be a part of this event, bringing our own form of spirituality to the test to find answers into what makes Hinsdale House and the Dandy Case so haunted. And I'm excited to spend some time with you as well, Dan. It's going to be a great trip out there. Now, I do have some icebreakers. I had 6, but we're only going to do 3. Okay. So, who wants to go first?
Benji.
No,
Okay.
no.
Well,
we don't do
Ben's
the ice
not-
cream.
I know, I'm just kidding. I just like saying Benji.
Yeah.
It's a
Let's
fun
go-
name to
let's-
say. No.
Yeah, Benji. Anyway, let's go Dan first, okay? What's your silliest memory with your best friend?
The silliest memory with my best friend. Man, I'm quite the prankster. I've done some pretty silly things, and I think a lot of the time I make myself laugh more than I make other people laugh, and I've learned to like tone it down at times. But there was a moment when so I was working at a collection agency back in the day, and the manager on the floor didn't know about like spoofing. He didn't know about like how you could call from somebody else's number. So I had called in to call this cell phone from a spoofed number, which was the owner's number. And I put it like on a static, so it sounded like it was really staticky. And I started screwing with them, saying, "How come you're still open? You should close the place down. There's no reason, to be open right now. The weather's crappy. We're losing money by having all these collectors on the floor." What, just got on his ass, and he's like, Neil, and he was getting, and then he got up and he's like, "Guys," I go, "Come here, Mark," and I told him what I did, and he goes, "You're an a-hole," and it was just really funny for me, I guess. Probably not for him so much. But
Yeah, I think not.
I don't think I would do something like that now, but it was funny when I was younger.
Right. I totally believe you.
Now I would just watch Impractical Jokers, and that just gives me my fix.
Oh,
'Cause they
that's
do some
true.
really
That's a good show.
stuff.
That's a good show.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, you're on the block now. What's
Okay.
your silliest memory with your best friend?
One time, this is a long time ago. I was in my very early 20s, I think, or maybe, probably about 21. And think I was still in school part time. I was still living at home, but I worked a regular job, and I was still with my parents. And so, well, I mean, it must have been a Wednesday or Thursday night. We went out and just got hammered. And he owned a bar. Actually, he owned the bar we hung out in. So, we got real lit up. I didn't get home till 3 a.m, something like that. And so I get up. My Christ, I can't go to work. And I don't want my mom looking at me all day because she didn't go to work and stuff like that. I want to, because I wasn't sick. I'd been out half the night. So I said, so I call off, sneak and call off work. So I go back up to the bar where he worked a night shift. And so I'm sitting up there and the daytime bartender's up there. I thought to myself, I'm not suffering alone. So I said, Eileen's the day bartender. I said, call Jack up. Tell him the IRS is here and they're pissed.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, no. That door flew open. He had a briefcase with him. He comes in. We all started laughing at him. He was good about it. I said, oh, you son of a bitch, And so we just sat there and no sodas the rest of the day until it was time to go home. But yeah, that's probably the dirtiest trick, most fun, silly thing I ever did to a friend of mine.
Oh man, that's
hilarious.
We were just laughing beautiful. About that the other day. Said, no, you're not. Yeah, I'm not suffering alone here. You're coming up here. It's your fault. I got that drunk anyway. So,
right, Chris, you get to go first. The second round here, and this one's kind of neat here. What's a weird fact you happen to know?
I know all kinds of weird facts. Define weird.
I know
a lot of weird shit. So. I saw it was explicit on there, so I know I can swear. So on the thing, so
always, all the time.
I know that. See, I'm a baseball nut, so I know all kinds of crazy stuff about baseball. All
right, I got a baseball question for you then. You ready?
Okay.
Okay, 1985 World Series. What Royal fouled off a home run and then ended up hitting a home run on the next pitch?
Oh, gosh. Now, see, that's more modern to me. And I'm a Cardinal fan, so that's probably why I don't remember. I can tell you who blew the call at first base, and that was Don Dinkinger.
Game 6, yeah.
Game 6, where we should have won. I don't think that was Brett. Might have been George Orta. Now that one I don't know. I don't know that.
It was Darryl Motley.
Darryl
Motley.
Oh gosh, that's obscure. That's even more obscure than. Okay, who was the Don Larson pitched the only perfect game in World Series history? Who did he strike out? Who was the last batter that batted for the Dodgers? Who struck out to end it?
I can't tell you.
Dale Mitchell. I know.
That's a good one.
So I know all kinds of weird stuff. Yeah. Yep.
All right, Dan. What's a weird fact you happen to know?
First and foremost, I'd like to just say that I love all of our women listeners out there before I give this fact out. But
boy,
women, all right, women guys, there are 2% of women in the United States have a third nipple. There are 2% of the women have 3 nipples. That's pretty weird. So you may, I don't know, has anybody encountered a 3-nipple woman? 3-nipple lady?
Why, no. I would know nothing about something like that.
Me neither.
No comment. Anyway.
Uh-huh.
All right,
you
Dan,
asked.
I know. Last round here. What's the craziest thing that happens to be on your bucket list?
The craziest thing. Wow, jeez. I don't know. Like, I've done some pretty crazy stuff. I've gone skydiving. What's left on there? You know what I'd like to try that I haven't tried that's pretty crazy? That parasailing. Where you hook up to a parachute and you get drug along by a boat.
Now, you realize that parasailing has nothing to do with the paranormal, right?
Well, he didn't say paranormal bucket list.
No, I'm just giving you crap.
All right. And we're talking about 3-nippled ladies in baseball so far, and now we're talking about parasailing.
Woo. Yeah, but stay tuned because we're going to talk about the Hinsdale in just a little bit. Chris.
I'm going to go to the side of the Wounded Knee Massacre. That's always something that's intrigued me. I would say it's on my list. Just never. I just didn't have the. I mean, I could probably just take a summer and go. I just got to be the right thing at the right time. But yeah, that's. I don't know. It's something personal, I guess.
I tell you what, man, it is an amazing trip, and I definitely recommend it, man. We ended up taking the long trek, but it was pretty exciting. Now, I want to start out our conversation tonight, Dan, about this event that you're going to host next Saturday night, and kind of I know we have a lot of listeners that are, some of them are going to be there. What's it like the first time that you set foot on Hinsdale, and kind of what's this process going to be like?
Well, I think it's going to be different. It's different for each person depending on their level of enlightenedness. I mean, I think that you and Chris will probably be feeling it before you come, and you may already be feeling it now, knowing that you're going to be coming there. It calls out to you, and people often say it calls out to you more once you're there, and you leave telling you to come back. I think there's a process that definitely need to be grounded when you're there. And you'll just get an eerie feeling when you're driving up this mountain, this dirt road. Turn off to a dirt road in the middle of nowhere on this mountain. There's this little white house sitting in the middle of nowhere, and it's when it gets dark out, it's even cooler.
Now let's go all the way back. Your first experience in the Hinsdale house, and I've listened to numerous shows that you've done, and I've had you on. And what called out to you, and what was that first experience like?
Well, the first experience, I was a little freaked out, because I had gone there with no knowledge of anything about this house. It was a co-founder of the group I'm with, booked the investigation for us and told us not to research the place. And he got us there, sat us down in the living room, and had us watch the episode of a haunting, a dark forest. And then I proceeded to get upset. I mean, I'm like, are you effing kidding me? You brought us to a house with a failed exorcism, and didn't think it would be good to tell us about that before bringing us here. But then we ended up having some really, nothing negative happened to us that night, and we ended up having some pretty good spirit communication. And it was amazingly active, and made me want to come back more and more and more, because it's like, you go out and you investigate these places, and sometimes you sit there for hours and get nothing. And when you go to the Hinsdale house, something always happens. For the most part. I mean, there's been times I've been there, it's been quiet. But for the most part, we get some type of activity or some type of communication. And then it spurs to the outside of the house as well. It's all over the place. As we started diving in more and more, which is why I wanted to bring you guys up.
Well, it's gonna be extremely interesting, because I will throw out there that I have had a female spirit named Elizabeth that showed up in the last 2 weeks. So, I'm curious to get Chris's take on that as well, of whether or not this house has started to call you yet.
It's not the house that's calling me.
It's the land.
It's the land. There's things in the woods. There's things on the ground. And that's and that's my thing. That's the last two events I've done the work outside, and I started experimenting before, but started doing some stuff that was more elaborate, and but that's me, that's my way. That's my medicine. That's my shamanism that I practice. That's it. That's what I'm attracted to and stuff. I'll get bored at events sometimes, and I'll wander outside. I did that when I did Renwick. Dan and we did Renwick at with the Ghost Crier guys, and I wandered outside and got some kind of cool things going on. I wouldn't even do anything planned, and so, but again, that's just how I am. I mean, the spirit of the land is what calls me. I'm earth-driven or earthbound, that type of thing, with a type of medicine and whatnot. So, yeah, that's what's calling me, and there are things to be looked for and perhaps found.
And that's why it's going to be interesting, because I've never had anybody there to dive into the land before. And we've started having, I know I've showed you both these pictures of this creature that we're getting pictures of in the forest, that's starting to make its presence known more and more. And I really want to find out who or what it is and why it's there, and what we can do to happily be there with our worlds combining, because we need to figure that out. I think that's part of the puzzle pieces of this house, and why the land may be so haunted, and why the house is haunted the way it is, and maybe why spirits can't cross over from that point. So having a spiritualist there and having somebody that studied shamanism or spirit energies from the earth, I believe that maybe we'll be able to figure something out. And I know that the people that bought tickets are in for a good show, because it's going to be unlike something we've never done before there. We've had our paranormal investigations where we come up and do our ghost hunting equipment and talk about the history of the house, but we've never really dove in live with people there. And I know, Chris, you like to have people there because all of that energy, like we did at Edinburgh Manor or the Farrar. I mean, everybody with their energy combined can totally help an experience.
Yeah, they help it, and also it opens things up for them. And again, it's not about, I don't go to these things to preach what I do or what I follow. I just want people to have experiences with the light, and wherever your light comes from, that's what matters. But yeah, and you've been to the last two I've done, and been a great help at both times, because you've been riding there with me, and people are just like will say things like, "Man, I've never experienced anything like that before," and that's how it is. I think. I mean, it's some of it is very profound. I think. And I just get there and I get it set up and I just bring it in, and everybody does their own thing. Everybody gets their own piece, but it's a matter of setting it up correctly. We'll be doing a circle, and we'll be drumming and singing some songs and talking to the people. And I'm starting to get some the pictures of the potential. We think maybe a Pukwudgie, which is a spirit in Native American stories. We're going to do. I'm still working that one out, how we're going to deal with that. Might be something a little separate. So, but yeah, definitely we'll be doing what we've been doing. But yeah, it's already set me on edge. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting is the past 8 or 9 cases that I've dealt with. Many of them have been dark, but most of them have been interdimensional beings, and I'm really excited, Dan, to test that out, because I have that tendency sometimes to channel these interdimensional beings. So I'm excited to be a part of that circle with Chris to see what we can both do together.
Definitely.
Yeah. And the spirit of Elizabeth that you're talking about has been a spirit that has come across and come up many times. She's called out to people, and she's always called for help. A lot of people think she's out by the pond because we catch this woman in white out there, and people have caught her in pictures, caught her in EVP, is always asking for help, like she's looking for something. They actually associate her with a woman that was hung at the Hinsdale hanging tree, and she comes through. And it could possibly be. Obviously, there's no solid proof of who it is, but she's calling out to any type of light worker. When they come up to the house, it seems like she tries to get through to them before they come there. Like there's a message she's trying to give.
And what I pick up on her is longer hair, but it's like tied up. Kind of how they used to bring them up. And I did see her in white, so I find that's one of those aha moments. It kind of lets my hair stand on edge a little bit. I can tell you that I've been seeing a lot of crazy energy the past couple weeks as well. So it's going to be. I think it's going to be a phenomenal trip. I'm also bringing out my daughter, Kat, whom has many abilities as well. So I'm excited to give her a chance to experience this the first time. Now, Benji, before I go any further, I got to make sure you don't have any questions.
I don't have any questions, and actually I did want to interject so that those people out there in YouTube and Spreaker land remember, since we were off for an entire season, if you have any questions for our guests that you want to have asked, please make sure that you type them in all caps. Any questions that I see that aren't typed in all caps, I'm going to assume you don't actually want asked, and they're rhetorical questions. But if you have any questions for our guests, which I'm sure both of them, maybe not Dan, but both of them probably will welcome, please type them in all caps so that I do not miss them, as the chat is flying by. The YouTube and Spreaker, both sides are extremely active tonight. So that is awesome.
Now, Dan, let everybody know, and I know we've touched base on it before, but how can people help financially to keep this, keep the Dandy House or the Hinsdale House going?
Well, we have a Patreon page set up. It's www.patreon.com/Hinsdale House Museum. We do giveaways every month. Try to keep people involved with the decision making of the place. I just like today, because of donations that were made, we've been able to actually secure tradesmen that can come and actually cut the wood original to what the house's siding was. So we can, because up to this point we've been going by donations here and there, and we've had to patch the house up with some siding that didn't match, and we really at this point are able to afford to have the siding redone on most of the house, all the holes patched up, all the fascia boards redone, and have the whole house painted twice over. So it'll be more historical to what it was original, as opposed to just patch up jobs so it's not leaking here and fix a hole here and shove this in here. So it's going to actually be done right. So I'm excited about that, and we'll be posting progress pictures, before and after pictures of that. And it's been because people have donated anywhere between $1 and up. $1 can go a long way if everybody's working together.
For sure. Now, Benji, you do have a question in chat.
I do. But it's not in caps, so I shouldn't read it out loud.
That's hard. That's harsh, Benji. Come on, man.
It's from our very own Psychic Gen B. Wanting to know why the youngest panel member is bald.
It's genetics, man.
That's
pretty important.
Dan might be younger than me. You don't know that. Dan looks pretty young.
Dan is young.
See?
Dan's like 25, man.
Yeah. If Dan's 25, then he's younger than I am.
That's what I don't figure in this at all, do I?
Well,
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
Must be the goatee.
I do want to add one more thing to this event that's coming up on next Saturday. Now, we are going to have several psychic mediums there in attendance as well. So, like Candy Orton, Brett Yacobucci. I mean, it's,
possibly Chelsea Gill too, one of my team members. She's yeah. So
I really want to meet her as well. I mean,
shoot, they'll be falling out of the sky.
Well, or the aliens could come and just suck us up and take us.
Thank you, Tim. True. Thank you. Tim says we all look pretty young.
All right, good job, Tim.
So thank you, Tim.
Yes.
Way to suck up.
Man, now let's take this a little bit different direction. Let's talk about what you guys are doing, and I always say it, and Dan gives me shit about it. Coming down the hatch. What's coming down the hatch for you, Dan? And then we'll go to Chris.
Well, I got your event next weekend, and then I will be in Cedar Rapids at the Psychic Fair at the end of this month. So I'm excited to come back to Iowa again.
That's phenomenal. Chris?
Yeah, it's the same thing this Saturday. Saturday we'll be with Dan and Chuck at the Hinsdale House. Then I'll be in Cedar Rapids at the end of the month. Let's see, that gets us into what, August? I'm pretty clear. I think I'm going to a place called Willow Creek Farm. That's not anything like that, but it's a real spooky place, supposedly. So not many people get to go anymore. So I got hooked up with a couple guys who wanted me to go. So, and then Scarefest, September 14th to the 16th, and 2 weeks after that, be Ash Bash, Ashmore Estates.
Wow. You're a busy guy.
Well, you are too. You just didn't talk about all your stuff. I know you.
Well, I thought we were only talking about our next one. I didn't know we were going all the way to November.
You said our next event.
Hey, Dan's a year out. He could get his book out.
I know he could.
Okay.
And I'd be writing it down. Okay, man, who do I call for that one?
So,
hey, don't forget the Quad City Psychic and Paranormal Expo, November 17th.
That's right. We'll be there. Both be there at that one too.
And I'm telling you what, if you haven't had the chance to meet these guys in person, or Ghost Crier and Kelly, you got to do it, because the energy is freaking phenomenal. I know we discussed this a little bit before the show, but we were all together in Farrar, and frankly, I didn't know how it was all going to mix, but I thought that the energy was phenomenal.
Yeah,
it was amazing. Now this random person, I'm sorry, I have a question here in the chat that I want to make sure I get out there. This
All right.
random person, Chelsea Gill.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if anybody knows who that is.
I've heard of her.
Wants to know what Dan's favorite tool to use during investigations, besides her.
Besides her,
Besides her.
Way to go, Chels.
That's awesome.
Oh, you got him. He's looking at stuff now.
Well, no, he's looking at his phone. He's getting ready to block her.
Yeah, so,
no, I mean, like, really, besides for having her with me, because I always boast about having her with me on an investigation, because she can feel the energy of the location that I'm in, and save me like 12 steps of investigating an area when she can pinpoint me to the right direction. Saves on time, and it saves on being able to come up with some EVPs or something like that. But I do like a good old recorder and maybe a K2 meter, just to kind of get EMF levels of the location, just to make sure I'm not feeling something I shouldn't be feeling,
All right.
'Cause
Rosa.
I pick up on a lot of stuff when I go too, and it's being around so many light workers, I seem to be picking up a lot of that, like more and more. I don't want to sit here and say that I'm psychic or anything like that, but I think the more that I get involved with the more that I do what I'm doing here, it's I pick up on a lot of stuff, and then it gets confirmed through you, Chris, or like when I'm investigating with people. I'm like, wow, I can't believe I was feeling the same thing he was feeling, but it's just kind of invigorating a little bit,
yeah, you're coming along with that. I mean, I've noticed that because we've done several investigations together, and the more we work together, I see that more coming out in you. You're allowing that. I think it's always been there, but now you're letting it to kind of come out a little bit.
Now I can
and
trust
it.
myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Rosa Malberg.
Rosa.
I am sorry if I mispronounced your last name. Forgive me if I did.
Malberg. You got to say it like that.
Malberg.
Malberg.
Rosa Neal Malberg.
Has anyone brought an attachment home?
Not me. Nope. Never.
Not on accident.
They don't want to come to my house.
They all hang out in Chuck's basement.
Yeah.
Well,
Part of the way my team works.
I will tell you, I did bring home some nasty shit. I opened up some pretty nasty doors, and I'll talk about it at the event. But yeah, it's one of those things you kind of live and you learn. And a lot of times, even if you think it's an attachment, and I think Chris will attest, even if you think it's an attachment, it quite possibly could be a test of your spirituality and your development into being a light worker and somebody that's in this business.
Part of what the team that I am on, Ministers of the Haunted, part of what we do is cleansings and clearings, and we have members that have been known to deliberately pick up attachments to remove them from locations and release them in other locations.
That's that catch and release. That's dangerous. I understand, but I can see driving it out. But sometimes one day, I mean, and I run the same. I run the same type of thing. Sometimes one day something's going to be too powerful for you to shake, and you're going to be stuck with it. So
I don't do it. I don't do it. But we have team members who do.
It's a matter of course. It's not a favorite of mine.
So.
I think Benji was getting a little bit defensive. I don't know what
No, I was just making sure that I was clear. I was clear that I'm not the one who has taken home any attachments on purpose, but our team has.
I had to clean up a couple of people who did that kind of stuff. Like, it's not what you want to do.
That's why I think it's so important to develop a rapport with because I'll tell you right now, 99.9% of the people that I've met in the paranormal, the spiritual community, I really like. You know what I'm saying? Even more so than some.
Wait, how many? What's the percent?
I'd say 99.9.
Oh, what's now that 0.01? Do you want to explain to us who they are and why?
Do you want me to tell you who that is? Okay, let me get the name down. I've had
They'll be plastered over Facebook within an hour. You know that.
So he's got a book this thick.
I'll be on that paranormal page.
That's the 0.01%.
No. Yeah, that's that book.
He knows a lot of people.
Well, it's sad, but it's like any other division. Now, I I don't feel the division that I'm seeing a lot on social media that's out there. Do you think that that's just part of of a game to get people to come in and watch some of these guys that are always attacking?
I've seen outright animosity between people, but
I think a lot of I mean a lot of what happens sometimes is to pick up on something controversial that you know is going to garner a response from people people are passionate about the paranormal, and when you say something that's objectionable or has to do with maybe religion or beliefs, I think that a lot of times you're going to garner a big response.
Yeah, we get attention.
But when in essence you should be being compassionate to everybody's beliefs, whether you believe it or not. You have to try to understand how they're feeling and why they feel that way. And take it with a grain of salt. You can't get so defensive over it. I think that's the biggest thing that divides the paranormal field is people taking offense to things. I mean, at the end of the day, we all don't know. We have no clue. It's there's no right or wrong. You can say there is, but prove it. Show me. And nobody.
Benji, I love the way that Dan said at the end of the day. So we're going to have to get kind of a promo, at the beginning. It's pretty awesome. Now, it's one of those things where I've seen it in the last 10 years in education. I've seen kind of the shift in the sociology of things, from people in general. And, it just appears that, okay, everybody can have their own opinions and ideas as long as you believe mine. That's the biggest issue. It's the closed-mindedness, and people have to get back to the point where we got into this because we had a calling, number one, but number two, because we want to know what happens after we die. That's kind of what the paranormal and spirituality is all about. You know what I'm saying? And people have to check themselves in that ratio, because if I'm not willing to share everything that happens in this basement, then I have no clue of what truly is going on.
True.
Yep.
Chris can attest. I was a middle-aged, big high school football coach that was scared of his own shadow down there.
You had your moments, man. That's true.
I would message him and I could feel him, as an empath. He's like, oh shit, Chuck's messaging me again at 11:30 at night. Damn you, Chuck. I got to work the next day. Right.
I never said damn you.
I know. It was more like F you. No.
I could tell you were working through some stuff, and that's cool. I get phone calls and texts and messages all hours. I might not get to them the next day a lot of times, but I get that. That doesn't bother me.
Now, cool. Have you guys ever ran into somebody that knew all the answers, and they weren't going to listen to anybody else?
I haven't. I have a couple of people, but I just kind of like, okay, go do your thing. That's fine with me. I don't.
See you later.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no sense in engaging those type of people. When you engage them, that's what then you'll have a wrath against you. I mean, it's
this is
I guess
deep.
the best thing to do is just listen and
this is
agree
pretty
to disagree
deep.
and move on.
Over in the Spreaker chat, Kelly Stefan said that we can't all be right, but we can all be wrong.
True.
Yeah.
Pretty
and
deep.
At the end of the day, as long as it's a good ending, kind of this typical Disney ending, we're good, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But at the end of the day, too, if it all goes terribly bad and the house burns down, well, it's the same thing. We're all wrong.
It's like crazy. Now, Dan gave me some great advice. Yes, Dan Klaes. Over a year ago. And I think that this is probably a big problem as to why that you have so much conflict or, in different realms of society. He says you can't sit and dwell and think on stuff that's going to drive you crazy. And I appreciate you, Dan, for making that statement, because it helped. Because sometimes you can't read yourself.
Right. And you also can't read what other people are thinking or what their intent is if you don't ask. So To jump to conclusions and get upset about it over the unknown is really a waste of your time. You should be focusing that energy on positive things. And you've made a big 360, Chuck, I must say.
I appreciate it.
Just a big ball of light you are, cuddly bear.
Yeah, anytime that anybody sees me, and I know that Taco will say this, I kind of molested him at Farrar.
You did what?
Well, I grabbed him.
I wonder why he was crying in the bathroom.
No,
Explain yourself, sir.
Spun him around about 10 times. Okay, no comment.
All right, show us on the doll. No.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Speaking of the doll, Chuck, where is the doll?
He was looking for a third nipple, guys. Come on.
That's right.
Oh, earlier in the show, Jen asked how many what percentage of men have third nipples. So I had to go look it up for her.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Okay,
1 to 3%.
How much?
1 to 3%.
Oh, so they're
And
in
it's
the same.
2 to 6% of women.
Oh, see,
So
I
it's a
just knew it as
range.
2, but
Yeah.
okay.
So that's officially out there on the air now.
Theoretically, women have more nipples.
Yes.
They're
Statistically speaking, women have more nipples.
okay.
Nice.
I'm not even going to get into the nipple talk because at the end of the day, one of my football players could see this show, and he'll be like, "Why are you talking about that?" Okay, jeez. Oh,
Right.
now, Dan, do you
So
have
one might call it a blessing to find somebody with a third nipple. Maybe
Yeah.
it's some type of like
Like a
I
4-leaf
enter-
clover.
yes.
No.
Wow.
Well, my wife is a redhead, and they say that redheads are only like 3 to 5% of the population.
Wow.
Well,
That's about the same statistics as a third nipple.
I
That's
know.
like-
So
Wow.
so I wonder how many redheads. No, I won't.
Don't go there.
I mean, I
I
think
will-
that really the statistics have to be low if you're looking for a third nipple on a redhead. Wow.
That's like a 5-leaf clover.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Or how many? Never mind. I won't even.
okay.
Bring us back, Benji.
Some of these weird facts. I tell you, you shouldn't bring that stuff up. You don't know what's going to happen.
Get up. No.
It makes
wow.
it makes it more enjoyable and it
Yeah.
brings it down to reality, right?
Yeah.
see,
We're
Yeah.
definitely trading in reality right now.
Holy crap! Sheila Jasper just said maybe a misplaced third eye.
Oh, I was just about to read that out loud too. You beat me to it, Chuck. Oh,
Sorry.
drop the pen.
I do read a little bit of chat, but mainly I'm trying to focus in and keeping everything kind of going here. Now, last night you had your new show on, right, Dan?
Yeah, we had our new episode on from the Ascension Church. Yeah.
What was that place like?
Well, growing up, I mean, it was a place where I went to church. There's underground tunnels. There's it would lead to I know where you're going with this, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it. It was underground tunnels that would lead to a cafeteria where we would eat donuts on Sunday, and then on during religion class on Saturday, I would sneak into those tunnels and I would find some, and I found some wine and tried it. So yeah, there was wine and donuts that I've eaten and tried at the
We
church.
had a lot of fun with that last night.
I know, I saw. So I'm just going to come out with it. I confessed my sins on camera last night, during
you
the
did.
show.
So you said, I'm sorry, Father, for drinking wine with my donuts.
Right.
Oh my goodness. No, one of these days I am going to get a subscription, and I promise I am going to catch up on that stuff because there's just a ton of great stuff. And the reason I like that portion is you feel like you're more a part of it, and it's not as glitz and glam as you would see in some of these TV stations and whatnot. Now I will say that I saw Coyote Chris Sutton in action on a show with a gal by the name of Amy Allen, right?
Yes, sir.
No, it was Amy Farrah Fowler.
Oh, okay. Fine.
Well, the show you're referring to is Dead Files Revisited. I wasn't on with Amy, but I was on the show. Yes, it was aired back in 2013, I think. And
I'll throw this out there. You see him, and you think, man, this guy's got to be 6'6", 240 pounds of freaking. He's just a freaking mean.
You know what this man says to me the first time he meets me? He goes, "I thought you were bigger than this."
Oh wow.
I'm like, really? I'd have burned you to ash for saying that.
Yeah, but Coyote did say, you look big, Chuck. Yeah.
Oh, I missed this comment a little bit earlier, so I apologize for it being late because it was right before you were talking about wine and donuts, apparently. But Rosa wants to know what scared you there, Dan.
What's
scared
that?
you?
What does she want to know?
What scared you there?
What scared me at the church?
I'm guessing so, because it was when you were talking about wine and donuts.
I got freaked out. We were in the this church is transformed into a artisan, kind of like a flea market, but high end items, high quality items, and there's a lot of historical items there. And I feel like there's a lot of attachment to the items. Like we were totally drawn to like old army jackets from World War I and World War II, cool items like that, and we're getting EVPs that said war and things that would be significant to what we were finding. But we were down in the basement. We were sitting there, and they were looking at this African statue that was giving off some vibes and EMF, and then I saw this shadow figure went from one room to the other room. Like you could see it, like clear. The paint on the wall was white, and it was blocked out, and it went into this other room. And the hair on my arm stood up, and it freaked me out a little. I've seen them before. This is like the third time I've ever actually seen one with my own eyes. So you didn't get the reaction that I had during seeing my first one, but I definitely was startled on camera when it happened.
And you sent poor Louis down the catacombs.
Yes.
Poor Louis always draws the shit jobs, I've noticed.
Yeah, well, that's somebody's got to do it. He can speak up more, then he can have a better role. You want to be quiet, you're going to go in the electroshock tub, and you're going to go down in the catacombs, and we're going to try to get a reaction out of you that way.
That's right.
Oh. So, yeah,
he's the guy, on the show. So
okay, so
everybody's got that guy they got to send to a room by themselves.
Right.
Yeah. Somebody's gonna be bait. It's supposed to be like a trigger. You're supposed to be a trigger object, but no, you're bait. Right. That's what it is.
So it's all fun and games till you bring a hag home, right?
That's right.
Oh my goodness. Let's go around with Chris. I'll start with you. What is the most insanely intense experience you had with spirit? I know you don't get scared, but and that you won't back down. But what was the most intense situation that you've ever had involved in a case?
You talking something where it might be negative or just overall awe?
Just it can be overall.
I'll tell you what. Last week at Ferrara was the most powerful things I've ever been involved in. With elemental, I mean, we're talking the ghosts and things like that, and I've seen elementals and come into rooms and things like that, and it's always different. But I've never encountered one that was that strong that let me and let us experience her, and I've never had one talk to me straight away and call me by name. And Dan had the geoport, and that's what happened. And then it turned around and happened the next night inside, same voice. I'm still just totally in awe of that whole thing, and I'm still processing parts of that. And like I said, Dan was there. He saw what went on. It's just, it was intense stuff. As far as being scared, yeah, seeing an elemental come into a room full of people that I was responsible for. I had 30-something people in a room, all sitting down, and it's not that it was negative or evil, but it was powerful, and you just that's like having a gorilla walk around the room. Just by sheer size and by power in of itself, it could be dangerous. But no, Friday night was amazing.
Before Dan goes, I do want to give a shout out to Denise Pridemore. I will be on her show tomorrow night at 7 Central, so you're going to want to check that out, and you get to hear a little bit more about my story. So check that out. I'll make sure that I post it everywhere on social media.
Denise is good people. I like Absolutely. Denise.
Now, Dan, what about you? Think to your most intense moment.
I know what it is because it's always in the back of my mind. our team was called into it was Niagara Falls, New York, and a woman was getting scratched. She was gaining weight. She was going through a terrific time there. When we had gone into actually, do our assessment of what we needed to do to try to help her, it wasn't something that we felt comfortable dealing with. It was definitely lashing out at us for going there. Things were happening that we had to kind of stay on a higher plane, and I look at all the things that happened to our team, and you could sum them up to just everyday things, but I felt like it was definitely lashing out. And I knew what was happening, and that's why I always just sloughed things off and said, well, it's not going to bother me, but during the process, we had to have an exorcism done there. A priest from the Catholic Church came, and they wanted me there. Like, I didn't really want to be there when this was happening, but I actually was brought into the house to keep an eye on the client, because she was just laying on the couch, and she was sleeping, and I just sat there and watched her. And when they started doing whatever they were doing, they had this old 17-year-old lab that just laid there. When I got there, it didn't get up, didn't walk around, didn't do it. Just old dog. This dog got up and started running around like it was a puppy, barking, and then it looked like her back was arcing and like she was levitating off the couch. It was just a really crazy experience. And when this is all said and done, it looked like she lost like 20, 30 pounds. Like what was ever attached to her, what was ever in her was gone. And like she had just been on a diet for 3 months. And all that bloating was gone, like almost immediately. It was just a really intense, amazing experience to be involved with. I don't know if anybody's ever been at an exorcism before, but it was crazy for me.
I've not seen anything levitate, nor been a part of it.
No, I don't know if she was levitating. It looked like she was, but her back was so arched when they were doing stuff. It was mad scary.
I have been through some pretty intense situations, but never anything like that. So the only thing that I can compare it to is when I took whatever was affecting my daughter at our apartment in Fort Madison. It was very similar, and the demeanor in the person just absolutely changes from night and day. And Chris, you probably seen that as well. Where their eyes will go almost all the way black. They change a different color, and their demeanor totally changes, right?
Right, exactly.
Man. Benji, do you have a question?
No, I'm just reading through the chat. Brian forgot to plug his modem in. I've never seen a modem that you have to charge. So, yeah, other than that, nothing big going on my end. Sorry, I was just trying to read through the chat, make sure I didn't miss any questions.
Yeah. I had a message. That's weird. It was an old message. But anyway, kind of back to this. Now, let's see, books. There'll be things for sale at the event. But Dan, is there still time and still room to get a few more people to be a part of this event?
Yeah, I can still get a few more in. We're almost to our max capacity of what I wanted. So, I mean, I can probably sell a few, like 4 or 5 more tickets to somebody that really wants to go and is really interested in what we're doing. So, I'm excited because actually Rosa is going to be there. I know she's listening.
Very cool.
Kyle, you guys have watched my show. You guys know about Smile Kyle. He's coming down from Canada for the event to meet you guys. He's really excited, and it's going to be cool. It's going to be like a big family reunion of people coming to this. So it's going to be a good time.
Absolutely. Now, Chris, are you going to be bringing those shirts? I can't hear him. Uh-oh.
I lost audio on him.
Yeah, I lost audio on Chris.
Chris said, I'm going to try to bring a few shirts for people.
Okay.
The baggage weights are very heavy.
Hang on, I coughed and I coughed and I hit my cough button and I forgot to turn it back on. So yes, I'll be bringing some T-shirts and a few books. I'm not as prolific as Chuck. I have written 1 chapter in 1 book, but I'm more than happy to sell it just so I have something to sell.
You should give it to Chuck to bring in the car so you can bring more stuff there.
There you go. Well,
Yeah.
I'm 5 hours from Chuck.
Oh, are
No,
you?
you're only 3.5. That's not bad.
3.5, yeah. But no, I'm just gonna throw some in the suitcase and bring some shirts. Yeah.
No,
I'll
I'm
have
almost 5 hours from Chuck. No.
But
No, but I'll have both copies of my book, so I'll definitely bring it. And that's why I'm driving. I didn't want to, I didn't want to take the chance of having to pay, extra on luggage. But it gives me a chance to spend some time with my youngest. I'm excited about bringing her out, and we're going to be kind of in the New York area for about a week. So I'm excited. Now. Let's see. You can get your tickets still. Is it danclass.com?
DanielClass.com.
Okay, danielclass.com. Check that out. And it's just super exciting. Now, how much time we got left, Benji?
I don't know. We got started about 10 minutes late, so I'd say about 8 minutes.
About 8 minutes. Okay. Let's see. Chanel says she's 7 hours from me and 14 hours from Hinsdale. Man, I think I'm about 12 and a half hours. It's going to be a pedal to the metal drive. Now, Dan, is there other things on the way out there, or have you ever driven to Iowa, or have you always flown?
I've always flown. I have actually driven to Iowa when I was like 8 years old, and I remember being in my parents' old blue beater up car with no air conditioning, and that was a long ass drive, and that's kind of my cutoff. If I get past 6 hours, I usually fly. It's easier. Nothing worse than traveling all day than going right to an event and going boom.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm coming out the day before. Well, actually, we're going to take off on the 12th because I didn't want to take off on Friday the 13th. It's one of those superstitious things.
I'm flying on Friday the 13th. And my flight number is probably 666.
Ooh. Now, this as we get towards the end of the show here, I do want to touch base on this because it's interesting. Both of you about at the same time started Iowa started to become in love with you. And you know what I'm saying? And you guys are coming in over and over and over. And Coyote, I think you might drive past my house. Next time you're going to have to stop.
Okay. It depends where I'm going. If I go different routes, it depends if I'm going to Davenport, if I'm going to Des Moines, or going to Cedar Rapids, or the longest drive is when I went to because Dan, we were there. It's that place Matt Bennett has. Gosh, I can't remember the name of the town.
Manila.
Yeah.
And that would have been, if I'd gone straight to Manila, it would take me 8 hours to drive there. We stopped in Hanley though, and has the best place. A place called Victoria Station has the best.
He remembers the name of the restaurant.
I do.
The name of the town.
I do.
Best
yeah, I know.
rib.
Isn't that something? I know. I mean, that was that good though.
Oh man, it melted in your mouth.
It did. That's when I'm thinking about. I can't go to Manila this year. I'm not allowed to travel on holiday weekends. So it keeps for good. It makes for good relationships. Let's put it like that. So,
Oh yeah.
so,
Now, what is your favorite Iowa experience so far?
what do you think, Dan?
I like the last one. I think it was really. I mean, even though at Edinburgh Manor it was very good, I feel like the connection that Will had to what we were doing, spiritual connection, it was just amazing. It was. I felt like you really accomplished something and helped him, so that was good.
It's weird. I had always been drawn to Farrar. I'd never heard about it until I saw it on Ghost Stalkers, and I told Wes Forsyth, I said, "Man, we gotta go there," and that's what started for me. Is I had to go there. And that's how I really got to meet Elizabeth Saint. Wes and I are going, wow, we don't have enough people. We need, he'd had Elizabeth on his show. We'd all three been texting stuff right when Ghost of Shepherdstown started the first season. And we, so I called her up. I said, hey, you want me to sing Farrar? I'm going to do, yeah, sure. And it's just been weird. Everything anytime I do something around that place, something incredibly cool happens. And so, usually when you have that feeling, that means you got business there and you need to follow through. And so I just followed through, and then crazy, cool, crazy stuff has been happening ever since. And plus the friendships, with Will and Jacqueline Conkle, and and seeing Chuck there and Benji and Dan and John got to spend time with Josh Hurd, and I hadn't really got to spend time with a lot before, and just all these nice things that happen out of it. And then, what's insane, and Dan, I don't think I've told you this yet. I was doing a show the next last Friday night, this one we just had. We're interviewing this guy, and his name's Richard Eastep, and Richard had done a book on Malvern Manor, and so he started talking about Josh. And I said, well, that's interesting. I said, myself and Dan and Klaes said, we just did in Farrar, and with, I just named some of the folks we were with, and, and then Josh, and he goes, well, he goes, why? He goes, well, I'm going to go up there for 4 days in September, and I'm going to write a book about it. I said, you need to talk to us before you go up there. So, so I gave him my number. We're going to be talking to him. But again, it's really weird. Why, you're interviewing a guy in a show, all of a sudden, Farrar pops up again.
Right.
And so right after that happened, I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. So the merry-go-round keeps spinning.
Farrar is the first place that I happened to meet my beautiful bald co-host, Benji. It is the first place that I met Dan, but really without Farrar being my first event, it's one of those things of, I think it has a tendency to draw you in.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And it's the power of the place, and everybody has something different to learn there. I mean, I certainly had something to learn. Everybody kind of, guys like Jonah Jones were like, wow, this is, and even Josh Hurd people were having experiences they hadn't had before. And, that's the power of the place. That's what's unique about the place.
I don't think I've ever been there and not had some kind of experience while I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like a second home for me.
Well, the experience where I did the
healing
and clearing,
it kind of cleared, it kind of calmed everything down, but there was still a little bit happening. Still a little bit happening, but yeah, it was pretty well, no pun intended, dead that night.
Well, we're getting down near the end, so let's share with everybody, guys, where they can get a hold of you. Definitely where they can get a hold of these tickets, because I'm excited. I will not be wearing a half shirt. I will be wearing a full shirt to the Hinsdale experience, just to kind of keep everybody calmer that way.
Okay. Okay, you can get a hold of me. You can get a hold of me at www.coyotechris.com, Twitter at CoyoteChrisS. My email is coyotechris1957@gmail.com. Facebook is Christopher Sutton for my personal page, and my like page is Coyote Chris Sutton. And on my Instagram is at Coyote Chris S too.
Dan?
Nice. DanielClass.com. That's basically all the links to find me are there. Chris, did you want to give me your home number? 618-616. Oh, okay. Sorry. And then, I've
got yours too.
I just got a few shout outs here. Not really shout outs, but comments that were stated that did get missed earlier. Tim Schoon hopes to see Chuck and Chris in the Quad City sometime. Just throwing that out there.
For sure.
I'll be there in November.
Yeah, we'll be there. We'll be in Davenport in November. Dan and I will be. I don't know if Chuck's coming or not, but
it really depends, because all the cool events happen to take place during football and basketball season. I keep pretty busy at that time, but I'll try.
Chanel wants to know what's wrong with Chuck's lights, and Chanel just needs to watch our shows, I think, on a regular basis, because they pulsate like crazy throughout the shows. Every show.
It's like having your own disco ball.
Yeah.
But it's strange, because the energy that passes through gets hot, gets cold, stuff like that. It is what it is, It is what it is. But I am looking forward to in all seriousness, guys, to spending that Saturday evening, or hopefully much of the day Saturday with you guys. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart. When I'm around you two, I feel like I can do no wrong. Your energy is just freaking phenomenal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's do shout outs, Benji, and then we'll do last word.
All right. Well, We'll do some shout outs here on the YouTube side of things. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We had Chanel, we had Andrew and Tim and Brian. Bart from the EGT Project joined us. Jen, she's always a pleasure to have in the chat. Rachel Cryer joined us. Woo. Rosa, Chelsea. There's just so many of them. Luna was there with us for a while, probably still there and just hiding. Sheila joined us. Thank you for listening. And that's all the further up I can get in my list. So if I missed you, I am sorry. But I remember Angel K was there with us. Denise was with us and she had to leave. If I missed you, I apologize. It's just because I can't scroll any higher than in my chat. So thank you all. Chat was extremely active tonight. We love it when chat is active. Chuck, why don't you go ahead if you can? Can you see any of the Spreaker stuff, or are you?
Yep, I can get the Spreaker side. Catherine, Sue, Lita, just kind of going through Kelly Steffen. I want to make sure that I get them all. Shay was with us.
Shay was there.
Yep, absolutely. Jen B. I think she goes on both.
Yep.
Man, there's so many comments.
There's a few of them. We got to try to figure out what's going on because there's a few of them. Like Kelly said, I think it was Kelly said that she can't chat on the YouTube side.
Huh. Well, you can't if you're on your phone. Chris Sutton was in there. He's pretty cool dude. Benji.
Yeah. I'll make sure nobody says anything bad about me.
And then I do know that BPG Trick or Brian Gallagher, he was listening from Ireland, and we appreciate you, buddy. At
very cool.
2:13 in the morning or whatever. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to final thoughts. And this could be anything. Just don't use don't eat yellow snow. That was used last week.
Yeah, and don't brush your teeth with Comet is mine. So no. No,
all right,
in all seriousness.
You said it. You go first, then we'll go Dan, Chris, me.
So mine is actually a quote from Audrey Hepburn. And it speaks to a person in every way that it should, in all honesty. This is from Audrey Hepburn. For beautiful eyes, look for the good in others. For beautiful lips, speak only words of kindness. And for poise, walk with the knowledge that you are never alone. That is
really good. That's really good.
It. Dan, you're up.
Another quote. A positive action. I think it's. Let me just see how I can remember how it goes. But it says, a positive action combined with a positive thinking results in positive success. So, in essence, stay positive all the time, as much as you can.
Good. That is good. Chris.
You caught me with quotes on my desk, which I'm lucky. This is. I did. I'm working on a book. I'm using quotes to begin each chapter, and so this is from the Lord of the Rings, and this is when Frodo has been talking to Gandalf about the evil things going on in the world and the loss of the One Ring. And he says, "I wish it need not have happened in my time," said Frodo. "So do I," said Gandalf, "and so do all who live to see such times. But it's not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what we do with the time that is given to us."
Nice.
Amen to that.
All right. So here's what I'm going to say. First off, before you can love anybody else, you must love yourself. So love yourself so you can set the world free and send that love into the universe that truly needs it right now. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to kind of leave it at that. We will not have a show next week, but we will be going live from the Hinsdale house. So you're going to want to check that out. In 2 weeks, we're going to have Crystal Taylor and Jason Kupsek. So it's going to be a 2-hour show in 2 weeks. I love you all. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night to myself at 7 Central. Denise Pridemore, I think it's Pridemore Paranormal. Check that out. On
Paranormal Pride.
Yeah, I had it backwards. I don't know why I do that, but I'm excited. And then I also think that do you have a show tomorrow night, Benji?
Yes, we do. B Squared Magic Monday with me and Brittany, and I'm hoping that she's feeling up to doing a show. She's been having some sinus issues and just got over strep throat earlier in the week, so I'm hoping she's up for doing a show. But one way or the other, you'll be stuck with me at least. So,
and I have a show tomorrow.
Yes.
Oh, and Dan's got a show tomorrow.
Yeah,
Chris,
8
do you have a
Eastern
show? No.
Standard Time with Bernice Golden.
Man,
Terminal Warehouse.
there's just so many great things coming down
Shows
the hatch.
everywhere.
Throw that out there.
Been
I'd
down
throw
the
that
hatch.
out.
Get that itch, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta get that itch.
All right, Benji, how can the people and the beautiful people follow us everywhere?
Oh my goodness. Well, you can follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. Why would I follow you on Facebook? You can like us and follow us, though, on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. We're also on Instagram. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Obviously, everything we do is on Spreaker. You can find everything once I get it updated again. I have a few shows that I do need to add, but once I get it updated again, you can find everything you need to know about the Beyond the Light Network at beyondthelightnetwork.com. If you want to email us, please do so at info@beyondthelightnetwork.com.
And that voice. Okay, for everybody out there, we love you, and we appreciate you coming back to us at the end of the day. We're out.
For information regarding everything
Wonderful.
Light Network has to offer, check us out at beyondthelightnetwork.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
Okay, and we're out.
All right.
All right.
Sorry, I have a
It was fun.
little ditty that I put at the end.
Yeah, it's always fun to have you guys on. I appreciate you.
I love being
Appreciate you coming on. I enjoyed pimping it out. Excited about it. Dan, I'll shoot you a text or something when we get settled.
All right, cool.
Yeah, don't forget me. Don't leave my ass at the airport.
At your rat's nest that you're staying at.
Yeah, it's just 2 nights and then it'll be good in Long Island. Anyway, guys, have a great week.
All right.
See you guys.
soon.
Peace out.
Benji, take care with Chuck. Dan, we'll see you this weekend.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.